Jennifer. Happy Valentine's
Yeah,
Day,
we do have
Chiquita.
a show. I am
Happy
pumped about our show
Valentine's
tonight.
Day.
It's
Well, I am
great.
too. We have a bit to talk about. We're going to start out with the hidden problem with Valentine's Day roses, which are really completely horrible. So I will narrate it, and then we are going to go on to. And Jennifer, you want to take on the rest of it and tell everybody else what we're doing?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. No, you guys are going to love this show today. We're going to go back up to
Uh-oh. Jennifer. What
February
happened
9th.
now? Okay.
Arctic permafrost releases more carbon dioxide than once believed. And this is a very, very powerful article. Has a lot to do with chemistry and different forces that are in the the different molecules when the ice melts. The next one we're going to read is from Gizmodo. Just came out as well. I think it actually may have come out today, Sandy. The Siberian tundra is doing that exploding thing again. So there is another methane blowhole that's been discovered. So they're going to talk about that and also how those methane blowholes are made. We're going to go through some before and after slides about then and now. Alarming photos taken in 1989 and 2020 reveal how one of Iceland's biggest glaciers has shrunk by about 150 square miles as a result of climate change. These photos are stunning and kind of sad.
Yeah.
And then we're going to take a look up in the Himalayan region in northern India. And there was a glacier that broke off, and it's very amazing. And basically this entire glacial lake just came crashing down. This just happened this last week. Many die, hundreds missing as Himalayan glacier bursts in India. So we're probably going to be seeing some more of that.
Oh, yeah. Because I created something for tonight.
Yeah. And then, Sandy, I believe you're going to go through our fun article. Old ski gondolas find new life as private dining rooms.
We might as well, right?
So what they're doing with old gondolas is awesome.
And it's in your backyard.
Yeah, there you go. So you're gonna take care of that, and that's pretty much our show.
Everybody with it, and it's about how really stupid flowers are for Valentine's Day, and what an ecological mess and a waste, and they're not good. And for my whole life, Jen, I've always said, don't get me flowers, they die. Don't get me flowers, they die. And God knows what they put on them. So okay, happy Valentine's Day. Americans spend nearly $2 billion on flowers. Almost all the roses are flown in from Colombia and Ecuador, the world's second and third largest exporters of flowers after the Netherlands because of their climate. Even California, the leading producer of domestic roses, isn't always warm enough to produce the volume of roses shoppers expect around for Valentine's Day. And during most of the year, flowers are shipped on passenger planes, but leading up to Valentine's Day, hundreds of cargo planes full of flowers fly to Miami. Transportation is the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in the United States, according to the EPA. This International Council on Clean Transportation estimates the flower delivery flights emit 360,000 tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Once the roses land, they are loaded onto refrigerated delivery trucks that will drive across the country. The flowers need to be kept cold every step of the way. On average, cold trucks use 25% more fuel than regular trucks, with the refrigeration unit also responsible for releasing more than 29 times the polluting particulate matter of the truck's main engine. You can show some love to the environment this Valentine's Day by ditching the traditional roses in favor of locally grown alternatives. That's
It is super cold here, and who knows, maybe the internet's not working right. We had a high of 0 degrees today here in Boulder, Colorado.
Ooh, cold.
All brought to you by the Boulder, the polar vortex.
All cold.
So
all right, well, we're good.
Here.
I see us on YouTube. We're good. I don't know why. I don't know why she swallowed the fly. Perhaps
she'll die. It's a grim song, right?
Right? Oh my God. And that's like something we grew up with, right? Think about that. Anybody remember that song?
Twisted
Yeah.
stuff.
Twisted. We were kids, and this was twisted shit for kids. But we are here. So I guess
all right. Well, let's get back to the permafrost. And they've discovered it releases more carbon dioxide than once believed, which is just what we don't need. But it's true. So they say it's 4 times greater than the combined amount of CO2 emitted by modern humans. That's the amount that's stored in the permafrost. Absolutely stunning. And it has a lot to do with the way it binds to iron. Now, I'm not a chemist, but something when the permafrost is frozen, as well, it's frozen, and there's a lot of iron in the soil. And I think when the water melts, the iron binds to the oxygen, and that's probably what precipitates it. And it actually creates more CO2 availability. And it's estimated that it's somewhere between 2 and 5 times the amount of carbon released annually through our current anthropogenic fossil fuel emissions. So it's kind of stunning. Yeah. So iron doesn't bind organic carbon after all. This is the big takeaway. So they've been long aware that microorganisms play a key role in the too as the permafrost melts. And the microorganisms activated as soil thaws dirt, dead plants, and other organic material into greenhouse gases like methane, nitrous oxide, and carbon dioxide, all the hot greenhouse gases. So the new takeaway here is that the mineral iron was believed to bind carbon even as permafrost thawed, but not anymore. The new result demonstrates that bacteria incapacitates iron's carbon trapping ability. So that's pretty scary. And this results in the release of vast amounts of CO2. This is an entirely new discovery. So it's not even like, oh, I forgot to put it in my models. They didn't even know about it until now, basically.
Oh, man. That's pretty.
What they see. It's huge. It's huge. I mean, it's huge. This is an entirely new discovery. It's never been known about before. And what they see is that bacteria use iron mineral as a food source. So the bacteria in the permafrost, as the permafrost thaws, they feed on the bonds which had trapped carbon, and those bonds are destroyed and released into the atmosphere as greenhouse
gases. Greenhouse gases.
So frozen soil has a high oxidation stable and allows carbon to bind to them. But as soon as the ice melts and turns to water, oxygen levels drop and the iron becomes unstable. And I bet it starts to rust too, right? Ferrous oxide, you know?
Yeah.
See, as it melts, then the water becomes available and the iron starts to rust and it precipitates the oxygen out, and that breaks the bonds and makes the greenhouse gases go up and out. Yeah. At the same time, melted ice permits access to bacteria. As a whole, this is what releases stored carbon as CO2. Pretty damn amazing. And this is absent from climate models today.
It is?
Researchers have only studied a single bog in this place in Sweden, and they've compared their results with data from other parts of the Northern Hemisphere. And they don't have all the results in yet, but they expect that it will be consistent in other areas of permafrost worldwide. So essentially, net takeaway here, this means that we have a large new source of carbon dioxide emissions that needs to be included in climate models and more closely examined.
Well,
right?
I guess the scientists have their work cut out for them then, Jennifer.
Oh, don't they? I mean, this is a bad discovery.
Do.
This is a bad discovery. This is like, it
they
isn't even like, oops, I forgot. Mm-hmm.
Oops,
even though the carbon stored, even though the carbon that is stored in the permafrost has a major impact on our climate, researchers don't know very much about the mechanisms that determine whether carbon in the soil is converted into greenhouse gases. So the majority of climate research in the Arctic focuses on the amount of stored carbon and how sensitive it is to climate change.
Wow.
So there's a great deal less of a focus on the deeper mechanisms which trap carbon in soil. Yay, this is huge. Researchers still don't know how much extra carbon from soil could potentially be released through this newly discovered mechanism. These methane blowhole craters are always very popular items. You know, everybody's very interested in them. Yes. I'm very interested in them. They're huge. Show the picture of that crater.
It is. It's right there.
It's
gigantic.
Freaking huge. And these things are not small. They're like, 60 meters wide or something like that. And they're essentially explosions. But this is the first article that I've seen that really details out the mechanism by which they think these things come to pass. But, there's still a lot to know, essentially.
There's still a lot to know.
Net, what's happening is the Siberian tundra is still exploding. So 3 new craters in the Yamal Peninsula in the volatile permafrost have been found just lately. And
just lately. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So these craters have been appearing in Siberia's Yamal Peninsula since about 2014. And I can remember in 2014 when I saw that first one, I was just like, holy cow, what is this thing? And so the one that they discovered in 2014 was 80 meters across. Can you imagine a huge giant thing just exploding out of the mud? 80 meters across. Yeah. Oh. And since then, they have found, confirmed another 6 craters on the Yamal Peninsula and the nearby Gaiden Peninsula. And they have discovered a crater most recently that is as deep as half a football field last year. I mean, that's huge, right?
Mm-hmm. That's huge.
Puts it in perspective. Right. And researchers have suspected that the explosive methane gas has welled up into the tundra. And as the tundra and the permafrost thaws, this causes the explosion. And this has been a hugely mysterious area, and they're researching it. So these craters that are exploding represent an Earth system process that was previously unknown.
Damn. Scary, Jennifer. Yeah.
It is scary.
Not scary in a way of like where we live, oh my God, tomorrow. But yeah, Siberia is. But see, everybody says what happens up there doesn't happen to us, but it's going to. These effects are going to hit us.
We're not going to have exploding craters.
No, but the effects of the methane in the air. And not to be
bloody hot.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I wasn't articulating as well.
No, you're fine. But you're right. You're right. So the interesting thing is they're finally
Yes.
investing some money into this, and they've created
Good.
an artificial intelligence-based model of the region of Yamal Peninsula and Gaidan Peninsula up in Siberia. And they have put this in with Google Earth engine cloud computing platform. So they basically put all the data within a cloud AI
Mm-hmm.
platform and made
Wow.
it into a model. Yeah.
I
And
lost where
this
I am.
model has all the previously discovered craters and the other ones that are forming. So they're mapping it out.
I see.
And,
I see.
you know, what have they discovered? They've discovered that the craters begin forming deep underground in pockets of thawed earth known as talics or taliques. I'm not sure. It might be taliques. So, anyway, these taliques form sometimes beneath Arctic lakes. And when the water in these Arctic lakes warms, methane can build up in these pockets. So, as the pressure grows, it can lead to explosive results.
Explosive
Yes. So
results.
so these three new holes, the model showed previously unseen stark changes across the two peninsulas. So those two peninsulas are degrading. It's getting as it thaws.
Right.
So it found between 1984 and 2017, they've seen huge shifts, and there's shifts in vegetation, there's shifts in elevation, and there's shifts in water extent. Whole lakes have disappeared, draining out completely as the permafrost that forms their outer edges and bottoms melted away amid the rising temperatures. So these areas have also become greener because air and soil temperatures have increased plant growth. So parts of that area are also sinking because as the permafrost thaws, the land subsides and it can degrade and fall apart and all these things. So all of these things are spelling a lot of trouble for the Arctic ecosystems and for the rest of the world, as you said, Sandy.
Jennifer, I have a
Yeah.
question. Well, you know how all the climate change deniers always say that, oh, it's going to be good for the earth. And so if they see it's greening, well, this is just going to be wonderful. So there won't be ice. We'll have green spaces. What do you say to that? What do you say to those
Well, I'd
people that
say
say
it's very
that?
short-sighted and not looking very deeply at the problem because there's so many factors, and it's
Yeah.
an indication that other things are out of whack and that all this methane that is living, that the deposits that are there in the permafrost are going to start to go off and lead to greater heating. So it may look pretty that it's now all green, but remember the albedo effect also.
Yeah,
There's
that's
going to
true.
be a lot more heating as it gets greener and darker and not white. There's going to be a lot more heating, and that in turn is going to cause more heating, and that's the feedback. So I'd say that people who say that may not be looking at all the
Okay.
elements that they need
So
to.
then I suppose we should give those people the environmental coffee house flush for the evening. Yes, definitely. They get that.
Absolutely.
Yes. And all of those of you that think you're contributing to the methane, you get that too. Oh, they're always talking about beans. The minute you talk about methane. So where are we? I lost myself here in thinking about.
Oh, well, I mean, basically,
We're good
the
with this
Arctic
one.
greening is happening. Yeah, I think we know it.
All right. So why
More
don't
of these
we
methane blowholes are coming up.
There you are. Why don't we
No.
go to the next one, which was the alarming photos? And what you're going to do is talk about the photos while I show them. How's that?
Okay.
All
That
right,
sounds good.
because this was in the Daily Mail and they give too much advertising and I hate it. So let's check these out. Jennifer,
Yeah.
we'll show you the article. Basically, it was just the Daily Mail. Then and now, alarming photos taken in 1989 and 2020 reveal how one of Iceland's biggest glaciers has shrunk by about 150 square miles as a result of climate change. So this is the Daily Mail is from the UK, and they're talking about Iceland, which I believe they are closer to, and they're talking about Vatnajökull, one of the largest glaciers in Europe, 2,973,000 square miles. So as I show these, you can tell us what we're looking
Yeah.
at.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go now.
Okay. So you have to do the slider thing. So
Yep.
make the slider go all the way across the other way.
Yep.
The other way.
And then, well, that's after.
There you go.
And that's before.
Oh, that's
And
before.
that's after.
And-
See where all of the
Wow,
that's
Oh,
after.
That's dramatic.
Yeah. See, look at how much is gone in not
Oh, yeah.
in not a long time. Wait, it won't stay, of course. This is going to keep moving. But yeah, it's all of that on the left, but all of the valleys and the creeks, creeks and
Right.
valleys. And look, it's
Oh,
yeah,
it's shrunk substantially.
Yep. Isn't that something? It's
sure
the
is.
before, and let's look at the water. This is the after. So the before. Here's the
The
before.
water's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I guess it's just a different different photography, but it's just
Yeah,
it's not a
it looks
long
the same.
time. In 1989
Yeah.
and 2020,
Well, it's
it's
30
going.
years. It's 30
Yeah, and
years. 30-year time
years.
frame.
And
Yeah.
here is the next one. Here is the next one. We will go from 1989, and here we go. And then also think about the Permafrost.
Ooh,
So see that
that's
town?
not
See the town? Yeah. Yeah. And look at the bottom. You see that they had, it looks like it was, halfway decent. And now they look like they've been having to build up. See there? It was normal. And then you go back and it looks like they had to build up to stay there.
Oh.
Yeah. It looks like they had to add to the permafrost.
Huh.
So, guys,
Weird.
this is happening, right? And if the Daily Mail is telling the Daily Mail is like the equivalent to the fucking New York Post in New York. It's a rag, okay? It's a rag. But these guys are looking at it. Look, see, Jennifer, these two are they're really and his was communication design, but they're really fascinated by this. There they are. Aw, so happy. But they're happy, but not the he says it's what, 3 decades, like you said,
Yeah.
okay, I cannot pronounce the Vatnajökull. Vatnajökull has lost somewhere between 150 and 200 kilometers cubed of ice. Gosh, it's a lot. So, guys, here's another one. When you want to sit there and you want to say, if you want to be doomers tonight and say we are so fucked, WASF, go right ahead. Because here it is, and then, and here it is now. Look
That's amazing.
Look.
It's so much lower and smaller.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I want to see what it looks like on the page. Oh yeah, they could see it. Good. You guys can see that, right?
Yeah.
So back when we were young,
30 years.
yeah,
That's what 30 years is.
and 30 years, and now it's like gone, and it's not. And so it may not look so dramatic up there, but it is. That's dramatic because just
huge
10 more
area.
years, it's done. 10 more years, it's done. Oh Lord, it's done. And here's another one. Jennifer, what's this one? You want to take a stab? I mean, at pronouncing it, Hafelsgejol. It must be
dare not.
Jokul. I think it's Jokul. Hafelsjokul Glacial Lagoon, pictured, is located in the southeastern end of the Vatnajökull ice cap. left as it looked September 1989 and right August 2020. So lots of it,
Wow.
lots of ice, lots of everything. These are good pictures. The Daily Mail
They're
actually
really
happened to
good.
have.
Really good.
So it's look at the water. It's so different. It was more
Yeah.
frozen, more
Hey,
chunky. It's more
Sandy,
slushy.
do
Yes,
you
sweetheart.
remember do you remember that movie that came out? I think it was about 2013 or so. It was called Chasing Ice. Do you remember that one? So in Chasing Ice, what these guys did is, and it was a labor of love. I mean, it's amazing what this guy goes through. He's from Boulder, of course, right? And they created an institute and they worked in conjunction, I think, with National Geographic. But the point is, they got these cameras, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they posted them inside little boxes because they were kind of putting them out on rocks where glaciers lived, and they would just take a photo like every hour. Then they
Yeah.
put the whole thing together over a couple year period,
Wow.
couple year period, and it would be
Wow.
movies, and you could just see the whole thing crashing. It's just amazing. Chasing Ice,
I
amazing.
don't know what. Oh my God, I have to put this up. Chasing what ice? Oh, Patrick.
There you go.
Oh, Patrick, Patrick, Patrick. Our followers, you have to
Right,
give them you have to give them a hand.
right.
They're
He's right.
diehards to the very end. So, all right.
Mm,
So, where do you want to? Do we have any more? Oh no, they have another picture there. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up.
I do
There's
that.
another one, and this one.
Ah,
Look at look at the before. Oh my gosh, this is
oh my
really a
God.
marketed difference. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Look
That's
before,
incredible.
and now look at that. Yeah,
Jeez.
after. And somebody else might look at this, Jennifer, and say, and say, "Oh, that doesn't look like that much." And then you know what it makes me want to do? Punch him in the face. It is that
Oh
much.
no.
It is that much.
Well,
It
the thing
angers me.
is, if we had been able, like if Ansel Adams had done glaciers, right? He was a
Yeah.
great photographer, did Yosemite. Like, wouldn't it be cool if Ansel Adams had done glacier pictures at these places like 100
Yeah.
years ago? That would be something to
Yeah.
see,
I feel really
you know.
bad about this movie. Everybody's seen it, and why don't I remember it?
Oh, Chasing Ice
It
is
bothers me
just
that I don't
incredible.
remember it if I saw it. And how could I have not
And
seen it? I've been in this genre for 5 years now. Look at this
oh
one,
well,
Jen.
just go
Look at
see
this
it.
one. Look at this one.
Yeah,
I'm
completely
sorry,
reshaped
but
it.
this is a scaff. That's all I'm calling it. I'm not going to do this. It's now listen. It's a glacial tongue, and it's a tongue twister too that extends from the far larger ice cap V left. So here we go. Here's another one. Look at before, and
Yeah.
now it's retreated. Before
Jeez, that's dramatic. And if
and
you understand
now.
how big these things are, I mean, it would be awesome if there was something there that was set to scale so we would know how huge these things are that we're looking at, you know?
When we're showing the before and afters, Jennifer, you were right. These were very good in the Daily Mail. Do you think the people in
Yeah.
the UK understand? You know that. So
Yeah,
that's
I
it. But
do.
that was pretty
I
good.
think I think Americans don't understand. I think everybody else understands.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it. I
Yeah,
also think
see,
that our.
denying global warming and climate change is not as popular in Europe as it is in America.
Of course not. You know what? I want. We're going to move over to the Himalayas. And
Yeah.
I made a video for this, so I'm
Oh,
going to
did
play.
you?
Yeah, I'm going to play the video. So actually, about that movie, it was a lot of workers that were killed. And they were
Hmm.
workers from the two hydro plants, and there were miners, and so it was pretty heavy. And the way the water rushes from these glaciers at the top, it was like the glacier lakes, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, Jennifer. The glacier lake, it's like it just let go,
Yeah,
because
well, it's being held back by an ice dam, and as it
yep,
gets warm,
there you
ice
go.
plus heat equals water. The ice dam is not going to stay there, and there are glacier lakes that are melted within the glacier itself. And as the dam breaks, then boom, it all comes out at once. And it was such dramatic footage. And of course, this is what happens when ice ages come to an end. As we mentioned last time, we're interglacial, right? That means that we
Yeah.
still have ice on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
We melted about 2/3 of the ice, about 1/3 was left, probably about a quarter
Boy.
now.
Yeah.
And when the ice age really started coming to an end, the last ice age that we had here on Earth, these types of events happened frequently. And many of you may have heard of Lake Missoula, and that
Yes.
was
I didn't
over
pull
in
that
like
up.
Montana, a
Mm-hmm.
huge glacier lake, and it burst, and it basically tore through, and it created the scablands in eastern Oregon and the dry falls and these giant ripples. And it's all because there was a massive amount of water suddenly let go, and it just poured over the earth in a huge
Wow.
giant deluge.
Jen, do you want to
Yeah.
go through it? Do you want me to go through it?
Oh, you go through it. It's fine.
All right. This is the Himalaya article, and I made the video to show that. And see, it was Al Jazeera's, and they said it was Nanda Devi, which I showed the area in that video, India's second highest peak, swept away the small Rishiganja hydroelectric project and damaged a bigger one further down the Dali Ganja River. And it was pretty hairy, as you saw.
Yeah.
More than 2,000 members of. Go ahead, Jen. Were you just going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say Nanda Devi means bliss-filled mother
Oh,
in
oh,
Sanskrit or whatever. And that's where
oh.
it was within this national park, and this glacier just broke apart and caused this huge flood. But it was in Nanda Devi, which is bliss-filled mother, up in the
Oh,
Himalayas.
beautiful.
They had
Thank
that.
you for
Yeah.
sharing that. That's beautiful. Well, this guy said, well, we're gonna, go through the bodies, but most of the missing people were working on two projects. Part of the many the government has been building deep in the mountains of that state, part of the state, in a development push. See, that's a development push, and this is going to just happen again, and it's going to get worse. Videos on social media showed water surging through a small dam site, washing away construction equipment and bringing down small bridges. Everything was swept away. People and cattles and trees. Sangram Singh Rawat, a former village council member of Rainey, the closest site to the Rishiganja project, told the media. And so you see them all there. Rescue squads were focused on drilling their way through the 1.5 mile tunnel. And it was at the one hydropower project site that they were building another one, right? They're building all over the place. They want to grow in India. We're talking about degrowth, and they're just growing. They want to build, and they want to make, and they want to do, and it just makes me feel like it's never going to end anywhere. But
Mm.
I digress. So we are trying to break open the tunnel, said Ashkas Kumar, the police chief. He said the rescuers had gone 150 meters, 490 yards into the tunnel, but debris and slush were slowing progress. So says that there has been, basically they're looking for guys in a tunnel still, and some were
Yeah.
rescued. That's really basically what it is. So I want to go down to where it says it's not immediately clear to what caused the glacier burst on a bright Sunday morning. Experts said it
Well,
snowed heavily, right? Well, yeah, do you have a different idea you want to?
well, because they don't admit, like I read that article and they say, like, well, we don't really know why it happened. I mean, gosh, it could have been the snow. Well, no, it wasn't. Maybe the snow had something to do with it, but it's the
Yeah,
heat. It's the heat, guys. Don't look too far.
it's the
It's not
heat,
like
guys.
it's not completely mysterious.
No, it's not. So they go on and they talk about the that they have it soaked heavily, and it was possible that some of the snow started melting and led to an avalanche, but it's prone to flash floods and landslides, and the disaster prompted calls by environmental groups for a review of power projects in the ecologically sensitive mountains. In June 2013, record monsoon rains there had caused devastating floods that killed 6,000 people. I remember that. So the water pockets and lakes inside the glaciers, which can erupt, leading to an event like this. Environmental groups have blamed the construction activity in the mountains. So it seems to me that there's a lot of there is a lot of blame to go around, don't you think? And I don't think you guys can hear it, but oh, it's not. It's a commercial. I thought it was something that had to do with the dam break, but I'm sorry, I was showing you something. Well, anyway, there you go. That's the article about that. We'll see what happens. We'll have to come back to this because this is an ongoing story. It's not just going to there's people that live there. There's 2 dams that broke. I mean, there's a lot of construction. This is an ongoing story, probably all over India and other countries. And it's going to happen in China. It's going to happen down in Chile. It's going to happen in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Everywhere with there's glaciers, and this type of thing will happen because a lot of times glaciers are in the mountains and they have ice dams, and the ice dams break, and what is up goes down.
We're going to go for a feel-good article on this lovely, wonderful Valentine's Day where no flowers for me, as we showed in the beginning. And here we go. I'm going to bring us to this next piece. And this is fun. It's fun in this age of COVID. It's fun that they're always going to have the ingenuity to make things happen. And this is in Colorado. Old ski gondolas find new life as private dining rooms. So you're out there and it's freezing, and there are these old ski gondolas that no one is ever going to use, or no one thought they would use, right? I don't know if they're heated. They might have been heated with little, I don't know what power yet. I don't remember if they said it. But this is what these people did. They said, with the ever-changing local COVID-19 rules limiting indoor dining, and of course it's cold out, and that's what we're talking about basically, how people want to keep warm and they want to be together and eat outside somewhere. It was easy to do the tables at the Mountaintop Brewery's large patio and prop open the building's garage doors. But even with heaters and fire pits, the patio would be a tough sell during the icy evening temperatures and frequent snowstorms in this Colorado ski town, famous for its champagne powder. So during one creative brainstorming session, their accountant suggested converting out-of-service ski gondolas, small enclosed cube-like spaces that transport skiers and snowboarders uphill, into private dining spaces. It's really sweet.
Brilliant.
It is brilliant.
Brilliant.
And these people did it, but they were hard to come by. But these people, they like other struggling restaurant owners, they found this one woman who had been buying up entire fleets of used ski gondolas over the last few years mostly on a whim, Jennifer, in the hopes of
Right.
someday upcycling them into something else. And here comes COVID 19.
Oh
So
my
the
God.
the pandemic became that someday. Dominic Bastien owns the Gondola shop, a small gondola refurbishment and repair shop with 7 employees in Frita, Colorado, and an unlikely star during the Corona panic. Corona. That was to you, Hambone. Coronavirus pandemic. As summer turned to fall, with no end to indoor restrictions in sight in many parts of the country, Bastien and her team began converting these old ski gondolas into novel, pandemic safe, private dining spaces for panicked restaurant owners wondering how are they going to stay in business over the winter. So the Mountaintop Brewery installed 3 of her gondolas, which each comfortably sit 6 adults and are available by reservation on the patio in November. They have been booked ever since. That is pretty friggin' cool.
It is.
It really is. So, like yours.
And I think this is up in Steamboat,
Yeah, it's
Colorado,
not.
where
It's
they
in
did
your
this.
state. But they also
Yeah.
said that, like yurts, greenhouses, tents, igloos, and other pandemic pivots, ski gondolas are allowing restaurants to expand their seating and offer comfortable outdoor dining accommodations during the winter while adhering to local regulations intended to help. Now, I wonder, though, if the servers are going outside, and these gondolas have little windows. Let me see if I can pull the any more pictures up of them. Here they are. This is a gondola on a truck getting delivered. If they're heated
Huge.
and they have little windows, because when you go skiing, are they heated when you get in? Those little gondolas, those little things heated as you're going up and down the. I don't know because I'm not a skier, but somebody might be. I don't know. Anybody's a skier out there? Well, anyway, it's cute, and the thing is, the wait staff are outside, so they're going in and out. They have to take care of themselves because they're going to be wearing warm clothes to go out, and then they're going to be coming in. They're serving right through the windows. The windows slide open. So
Oh, that's
each
brilliant.
person it's like being in a little space pod, you know?
Yeah.
But that was the picture. And so it's ingenuity, it's marketing, it's whatever, just like people during the pandemic, they made every kind of mask imaginable. People so people are investing in this, and I don't see any of that in New York, and we have ski areas, but they're skiing, but it's interesting. So we thought this is what the temperatures are going to be like Monday. See that, Jen?
Oh my God.
Burr.
It has been so cold here. I mean, it has been absolutely. We had a high of 0 degrees Fahrenheit today,
Wow.
which for Colorado is pretty cold, you know.
Yeah,
It wasn't any 12 degrees.
It is. Well, I see that in Buffalo, where I live, south of Buffalo, we have this winter storm warning. But that's not unusual. But what is unusual is like Nicholas Humphrey, our meteorologist Nicholas Humphrey, he has been putting up on his website all the snow they've been getting. That is, I think, a little unusual for Lincoln, Nebraska, for it to be that cold. And then I have another little one to pull up to make us all cold. And it's going to feel like Monday. It'll feel like minus 36 in Lincoln, where around where he lives. -1 by me. We got plenty of firewood. I'm not going anywhere. Let's see by you. Yeah, boy, it's going to be cold by you. Minus 16 in your neck of the woods. And let's see what's this one is the vortex. And when you see it, this is why it's happening. The Polar Express coming tomorrow. See?
Right. Well, it's already here in Colorado. And remember, guys, if it's down here, it ain't up there. Right?
Yeah, that's the fucked up part of it. That's right. If it's down here, what the hell is going on up there? Well, we just spent the night talking about some of that.
I did a spot check, and Colorado was colder than the most northern part of Greenland, and it was colder than Halifax and Nova Scotia.
Really?
And all those places. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Because this is polar air coming straight down, because It's warmer in the Arctic than it should be, and we've talked about this a million times.
A million times, but it's just when you see
Yeah.
that the picture of the vortex and how it's pushing down, and it's even going to be chilly in Los Angeles, and but it's going. Look how far down it's going into Texas,
It's
and
even into Mexico. Look at that.
yeah, it's
Into
Mexico's
northern
not going to be
Mexico.
northern. Yeah, you're right. But I wonder what the temperature.
Touching
So
it.
we'll have to look at the temperatures. Going south says you guys should come to Greenland in the winter to heat up. Oh, we love you guys. We love you guys. Don't forget about our little fundraisers. I'm doing the little grift of tackiness here, but I'm putting it up because you know what? It's really cute. And if in my copious
And you can
free
buy
spare
multiple coffees. You don't have to buy one coffee.
You can buy
get a
multiple
bunch of
coffees. Okay, Tanya and Jim are buying coffee tonight. Woohoo! Well, that deserves one more goodbye, Environmental Coffee House. As we say good night and peace out, and we love you all.